Seth here with Activated Performance and Perfect Storm Hardcore Training Gym, the strongest gym in Florida. Yeah, that's a little bit of a Mark Bell throwback because when I started in powerlifting, I spent a lot of time listening to Mark Bell's old voiceover training videos, and I figured since we got a pretty good training crew right now, you guys might want to see what we're doing. So on this Sunday, this is our traditional heavy lower day for most of us. There's a lot of us that's prepping for showdown at the Storm meet in 4 weeks. Dan Bell is pulling his deadlift opener for the Pioneer Open that's happening in 2 weeks, and Danny and I, we're just kind of ramping things up since we're a little ways away from our meets. We got Miana here, absolutely demolishing 315. She's working up to a heavy single today for her last heavy deadlift. We also got Dylan and Joao doing heavy singles too for their last heavy deadlift for the training cycles. Got Shelly here, she's just doing a bit of a deload week, breaking in a new pair of briefs. One thing you want to notice with Shelly is how smooth her squat is, especially when she puts on those briefs. Here's Joao, pulling something easy, I don't know if that's 3 or 4 reds on there. 374-ish, 495-ish, something like that. Here's me. I'm running a high box right now. Usually at the start of my squat cycles, I'll run 2 weeks to a high box, and then I'll drop the box down with accommodating resistance to get used to the lower box without the same weight in the hole. Kind of the way I progress range of motion, as you'll see through over the coming weeks. It allows me to peak really well, and I end up feeling really good in the meet. Usually what I end up hitting on the high box day, I'm able to go 50 to 70, maybe a little bit more on meet day. Here's Mike. He's also doing a bit of deload week in just briefs as he went pretty heavy last week. Here's Dylan. When you notice Dylan pull, watch how his knees scoop under the bar as it passes his knees. This is a habit we're trying to get him to break right now. He's having a little bit of trouble with his lockout because of it, as you'll see later on in the video. But we get him to drop it down, and he ends up cleaning things up a little bit. Here's Miana with 365. She's had trouble with her deadlift for a long time, and it's really starting to turn around. A big part of that is just having Dan Bell around and having him able to not only pick things apart better, but help her with the mental side of things as well. Here's 395. This was supposed to be her heaviest pull of the cycle. Dan was actually trying to egg her on to take 405 instead of this, but she wanted to stick to the plan and ends up pulling this for a really smooth single. Went so smooth, actually, Dan was able to convince her to still go for 405 anyways, which you guys are going to see in a bit. Here's Joao again with what looks about 600 pounds. Watch him take the slack out as he's setting his hook grip. Let slack come out of the bar, slacks out, then pull. That's what you need to be doing if you're pulling sumo. His knees were maybe a little bit slow in the lockout, but that's something we can work on. Here's Mike. Mike was doing 3 singles at 565 for his deload week. Kick back nice, open up nice. Boom. Mike is coached by Danny Tiniero, and you'll notice that Danny himself and all of his lifters are absolute technicians. Here I am. I think this is 595 on the Buffalo bar. I'll usually put a soft pair of knee wraps on early, just because it helps me get used to having the wraps on, get to spend a little more time in wraps, and 2, when I'm squatting heavy, I like to have wraps on more often than not, just because it helps with my knee health. And here's Dylan, like I said, knee scoop under, and really shitty, greasy, doesn't really count lockout. Dylan's going to be good, though. He's made so many improvements since he started training with us that we're not worried he's going to be able to clean this up, and he's still going to have a good pull at the meet. Here's Shell, first set in briefs. One thing you want to notice, too, about how when we're picking from the monolift, we are all getting as tight as we possibly can before standing the bar up. That way, as soon as we put in pressure to the bar, we're just picking the bar out of the rack. We're not trying to tighten up. We're not trying to do any unnecessary movement, not wasting any time or energy underneath that bar. Here's Big Dan Bell. I think this is his second set of the day, and it's about 700 pounds. It's just nuts. Watch how he's able to wedge this bar off the floor. Look how it just starts hovering before he pulls, and boom to lockout. One thing you realize when you're around someone like Dan Bell is that you are not like him. He's just built with something else. Here's Danny Tiniero, the man himself. He's had a bit of a rough go with some nagging pain and injuries lately, so it's good to see him squatting in briefs and squatting pretty big healthy. One thing you don't realize about Danny until you're back squatting behind him is how freaking jacked the guy is. Like, when you're around there with your arm wraps around him, you're just like poking the lats and pecs and abs, and you're just like, holy shit, this guy is rock solid. Little homo there, but, you know, it's not gay if you're training partners, right? Here I am again. I think this is about 685 on the 55-pound Buffalo bar. Dan was talking a little bit of shit before this set, so I had to give it back to him right afterwards. Nice kickback. This is in my normal comp wraps, so a little more pop. And a nice little fuck you, Dan, for good measure. Here's Joao again. Second single at 600-ish. I really have no idea what kilo plates weigh, so I apologize for, you know, the ish numbers, but putting you guys in the ballpark, you can figure out the rest with your calculators. Again, taking the slack out as you're setting the hooks. Little pre-tension. Good wedge, good wedge. Boom, knees lock, hips lock. Beautiful sumo. Here's Mike again. Another single at 565. Mike has improved so much since I first met him. It's insane. Boom. Look how beautiful that is. He's going to be rock solid at the Storm meet. And here it is. Miana's first ever 405 deadlift. She's probably been strong enough to pull this for 2-3 years, but for some reason or another, it's never actually happened. And this is a really big milestone for her, and I'm sure that now she's broken the 400 pounds and realized she can do it, things are going to start going a lot better for her deadlift. A little bit shaky, but nice, strong, smooth all the way to lockout. Here's Danny. 595-ish on the Buffalo bar. Look at that. Straight up and down on the unrack. Kicks back. Torso angle stays the same, just opening up and spreading, and boom. That is how you squat in multiply gear, guys. Dan Bell, 804. This is going to be his planned opener for the Pioneer Open. Look at this. Just look how he takes the slack of the bar. Look how he wedges. Look how it's hovering before he starts to pull. Boom. Slack out. Off the ground. Boom. So freaking strong. Just stupid. Here I am. 775. 8 plates. Make sure I'm wedged in nice and tight. Make sure I'm packed in. Make sure my back's tight. Make sure my feet are set. Making sure I can spread the floor. Lots of air in. Grab a little more before I squat. Kick back. Open up. Sit on the box. Boom. I'm saying boom too much in this video, but whatever. You guys can deal with it. Here's Shell again. 375. Look at that. So friggin' smooth. No knee deviation, no knees shifting anywhere. Just absolute perfection in those briefs. Here's Josh Pollard. I'm wrapping him up right now. Not doing too crazy of a wrap because we're just getting used to him since Showdown of the Storm is going to be his first meet ever. He's a classmate of mine at Palmer, Florida, and I convinced him to sign up. It's been great training with him, great seeing him progress. When he first started with Josh, he'd never squatted 315 in his entire life. And now look at him, he's blown up 425 for what's going to be his planned opener. Beautiful depth, nice speed. That looks like an opener, right guys? Super proud of Josh. Here's Danny. I think this is 685 on here. Can't really tell because Dylan's fat ass is in the way of the plate, so we'll see when he moves out of the way. Again, look at Danny's pick, just straight up and down, wedges his hips under, stands her up. Your squat really starts from the pick, so if your pick is perfect, you're going to have a lot better chance at having a perfect squat. Here's Shell again. I think this is 415. Little shifty on the initiation, but she cleans it up well. And just able to blow it up. I think after the set, you'll see her. She's talking about how she felt the seams blowing on her new briefs. Seams will pop when you're breaking in a new piece of gear, and that can cause some hesitation. Yep. Here's Joao with a down set. Pay attention to the knees and hips, guys. Sumo, you really want the knees to lock first, just so you can still drive through with your hips at lockout. If your knees are bent too far after the bar passes them, you're not going to be able to fight the weight. You're going to be stuck, and you're going to get hung up on your quads. Joao can sure pull for a guy with skinny legs, eh? Here's Dylan, down set 2, trying to fix his problem, trying to fix the scoop. You'll notice that it's still there, but it isn't as bad as it was.
Do it right.
He needs to think about just driving his legs through the floor, not getting too far behind the bar, and just trying to lock his quads as soon as possible.
Can only do one thing right at a time, eh?
Here's Emery Mullen. We didn't get a lot of videos of Emery just because he started a little bit later than all of us, but he's coming back from a bilateral quad tendon rupture, which is friggin' gnarly that he's squatting at all, let alone squatting 315, 405 on a deload week. Showing at the Storm is going to be, I think, his third or fourth meet. After that, he's kind of slowly, gradually just been putting pounds back on the platform as he goes, as he heals, as he gets stronger. And he's creeping up on some PRs again, which is really gnarly. Super cool to see Emery's progress. Here I am self-wrapping for my top set. I always like to self-wrap because with my knees, I want to be absolutely in control of the position of the wrap, absolutely in control of the tension, and know exactly how the wrap is going to respond. I also find that self-wrapping helps me focus and helps me get in the mindset before the squat. That's something that I'm really dependent on, is being in the right frame of mind, so anything I can do to help that, I want to do it. This is 8:55. A little bit too touch and go in the box for my liking, but I'm super happy with how it moved. I actually wanted to go 900 after this, but Dan and Miana wouldn't let me. Probably the right call. Well, definitely is the right call because there's still a long time till meet day. Here's Danny, 775 to close things up. Again, super happy to see this guy squatting big, squatting well, no pain. And look at that pick, straight up and down. Breaks at the hip, opens the knees up, spreads that taint, and boom, nice and smooth. Always fun watching someone like Danny squat because it's always so perfect, even if it is scary getting it back in the hook sometimes. And yeah, that's that. That's everything we did this Sunday. You guys can check us out at activatedperformance.net for our apparel and some information. And yeah, buy a t-shirt because tuition's expensive. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one.